So printmaking has become a real passion of mine. I couldn't imagine my life without it, really. It's like 90% of my day honestly revolves around screen printing and risography. Hello everybody, my name is Charlie Ostrom and I currently run Goodtimes Press, which is a risograph and screen printing studio. So I grew up in Apex, North Carolina, which is right outside of Raleigh. Since I was a kid, I've been pretty immersed in the art world. My dad was an illustrator and he used to do children's books. And he would do talks at my school when I was like really little. So he's always kind of been like the backbone of inspiration and kind of like took me under his wing. And then also growing up, I was really into like skateboard culture and the graphics that surrounded it. I was like constantly just redrawing all of the logos on skateboards and I just really loved it. And then when I moved up to Boone, later on when I first started college, I actually got the opportunity to draw my own skateboard and it was like a dream come true. And then it all just started from there and it's just been growing since. So I moved to Boone 6 years ago. My parents told me it was time to move out of the house. I had a couple friends living up here and so I decided, why not? Like, I'm gonna move up to Boone, I'm just gonna live my life and we'll see where that takes me. So the first year I lived up here, I went to Caldwell Community College. I graduated from there, got my associate's degree. And I said, what's more in store for me? So, I said, shoot, like I'll try and go to App State. I had a dream of being an art teacher. I wanted to be an art teacher. And so I saw that the education program at App State was pretty good. Decided to go there. First year at App State, it was wonderful, but I decided that teaching wasn't for me. So I started doing, graphic design, joined the graphic design community, and they're such a loving group of people. I couldn't imagine myself anywhere else. And they're all so talented too. Like every single person brings something to the table. And it's so community driven. Like I used to just go into the art building and I would go to room 212 and I would sit down and then there was guaranteed to be at least 5 or 6 people there. And they all pushed each other, and it was awesome. So I wasn't really excited about any project really until around Typography 3 with Professor Trisha Tracy. She was the shit. And she introduced us to this wonderful machine called the risograph. And we were tasked with making a zine. And so I had no prior knowledge to the risograph at all. But when I saw it and I saw the way it works, it was really similar to screen printing, but it was all automated. So like this thing was like the next level screen printing. Like this thing could take my work and make it so quick and it would have the same results as screen printing. So the project base was we were tasked with creating a zine. At the time, I was just churning out all of these prints, and the work really didn't mean anything. I was literally taking stuff out of the garbage and scanning it on the print bed, and I wanted to find something that I was more passionate about, something that I could relate to, something where I could put my emotion on a piece of paper. And so at the time, I was going through a lot of stuff. I was a garbage man. I was working a couple other jobs and things were just getting kind of rough. And so being able to portray that on paper as a publication really helped emotionally, I guess. It was kind of like a therapy, I guess you could say. I was able to express my feelings and emotion on paper. I decided to get into printmaking after taking a course at community college where my professor was really pushing us to make work in mass amounts, and then she told us about screen printing and I just became like super infatuated with it. Like I just started printing on everything in my house. Like, I was printing on my backpack, I was printing on pieces of paper, cigarette cartons, just like everything that I could get my hands on. And then I figured out that I could print on shirts, and then it became a thing where I would sell the shirts and I'd make a little bit of beer money for the weekends. And then from there it just grew, and then I started printing shirts for my friends, I started printing shirts for bands and just like local small organizations and stuff like that. So printmaking has become a real passion of mine. I couldn't imagine my life without it, really. It's like 90% of my day honestly revolves around screen printing and risography. So to be completely honest, when I first started, prior to it ever being Goodtimes Press, I had no idea what I was doing. I had some screens that I had made myself. I stretched myself and I used the sun as an exposure unit. So it wasn't really professional at all, but people seemed to love it. And I just wanted a way to produce my work, and I wanted to give that opportunity to other people. So I started Goodtimes Press. Goodtimes Press is a community-driven DIY risograph and screen printing studio. Started from me like just making shirts for myself to me making shirts for bands, and then eventually small businesses started coming to me and they wanted me to make shirts and designs. And so I started printing there and doing all of that kind of stuff. And then, well, I thought that I could make it into something even more than that. I wanted to start working with local artists, and I wanted to start producing their work. So they wouldn't have to do kind of what I had to do. They could kind of start up here rather than starting down here. And I wanted to publish their work for them. I wanted it to be professionally done, and I wanted to give them the opportunity that I didn't have. Because it's hard to become published. I had that problem, and then you know what I did? I just started publishing my own work, and it really worked out in the end. So Goodtimes Press has almost, for myself, become a way of life. It's every morning I wake up and it's what I do, you know, like it came from something that I was just doing in my kitchen to the now studio that I have. And literally every morning I wake up, I produce some work and I'm proud of it. You know, like it's something that I can stand back and look at and say that I'm proud of it. And I want more people to understand it. So in the future, I would love to host workshops and maybe even potentially some residencies or something like that, so I can really give back to the community that gave to me. The community is what allowed me to do what I'm doing today.